Shalom. All praise to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahawashi, Ba'ashavu Kakodash, and double honors to the apostles of GMS and the bishops, the elders, and all the sincere brethren that are laboring the truth across the world, and also to all the sincere brethren and sisters that are listening to the truth. And I pray this may be another edifying lesson to the flocks, and whether the Most High want to this message, let it be heard. And before I begin the lesson, I will introduce the name of the Father, which is Yahweh, and the name is mean He exists. And the name of the Son is YAHAWASHI, which means the Redeemer or the Deliverer, and He's only coming to redeem His people, which is the nation of Israel. And in today's age, you would identify them as the so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, and the so-called Native Americans, which scatter on all four corners of the world. And it looks like they're other nations and also practice the custom of the other nations. And that'll be it for the introduction. However, for today's lesson, it's basically Matthew 24. I'm gonna read the last few verses, which is only 3 basically, of that chapter, because I've basically finished it. So I know I kind of start backward because I believe last week I wanted to do a lesson on the last part of it, which was about be ready for Yahushua's coming. Then I realized, oh damn, I might as well do the whole chapter. So I kind of start backward, and I started the last 2 part of the chapter. Then I was like, you know what, let me do the beginning all the way to the end. So that'll be it. So a brief flashback of the lesson, you know, the first part of the lesson, which is basically signs of Yahushua's return. And he was, when the disciples asked him what will be the sign of the end time, he told them there will be like wars, rumors of wars. There's going to be many false Hamashiach coming on his names, and there's going to be false prophets, and there's going to be famine, kingdom versus kingdom, pestilence, and earthquakes in diverse places. And he told them these are all the beginning of sorrows. And he said there's going to be many afflictions. Some people are going to, family going to turn on each other, stuff, things like that. And basically they're going to be offended. Many going to be offended because are going to be offended for the truth's sakes, and also betray one another. And he told, and he said like love of many is going to wax cold, and those who endure to the very end, those are the ones that's going to be safe, basically, man. And the next part of it was basically perilous time, like he foreshadowed what would happen in the end time, which is basically Jacob's trouble. Like all those horrible things that there's a lot of horrible things that happen throughout history, but however, there's never a time in history where every horrible situations happen at once, which is what we're gonna get into right now, Jacob's trouble. And right now we basically are in the early stage of Jacob's trouble, which is gonna be soon accelerate. And basically that was a part. And he said like if the heavenly father doesn't cut the day short, like no flesh will be safe. And then when we keep on going, and that's when we get to that part of it, which is the glorious return of Yahawashi. So I'm gonna start Matthew 24 verse 29, and I'm basically reading in the KJV, which says Matthew 24 and 29. Immediately after the tribulations of those days shall the sun be darkened. So basically immediately, or after the tribulation of those days, basically immediately after the tribulations, like all those horrible times gonna happen in Jacob's trouble. They said the sun shall be darkening, and the moon shall give no light. So basically the sun is gonna be dark and the moon's not gonna give light, which means basically gonna be like a eclipse. Last night and this morning, that video, I can't remember from what channel, it said that Esau's putting like what's gonna happen this coming September 7th and September 21st. There's gonna be like a double eclipse, if I'm not mistaken, that's gonna happen. And if we pay attention, and whenever we see an eclipse, there's always something that come after it. There's always some sort of chaos. The Most High always do something during those, well, whenever there's an eclipse. These are all signs Yahushua talk about that's gonna happen in the end times. And he says, and the stars shall form from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. So the stars gonna form from heaven. When you talk about the stars, not gonna talk about like a star that are in space coming down. Because when I was younger, that's what when I read the Bible, when I heard that, I thought it legitimate means like a star's gonna come down from heaven and crash. Those simply mean the ICBM missiles, man. All those arrows that's gonna shot from one end of the world to the other, they're gonna come to America. There's also other places that are gonna be getting hit with missiles, but they're not going to be fully destroyed like Babylon the Great and the land of Israel. Those are the two lands that's going to be destroyed completely. However, Babylon the Great, which is America, going to be destroyed and never be restored again. It's going to be like a monument. However, the land of Israel is going to be destroyed, and after that, it's gonna the Most High is going to restore that land back, because that's our land. That's what we naturally. That's our homeland basically. So the Most High going to be restored, cleaning all those mess that's going on over there. So let me read that part again. Okay. And it says, and the star shall fall from heaven. Yeah, the star means the ICBM missiles coming down, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaking. So the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. That means all those big, powerful nations that are that when you read from the early verse from 24 verse 7, it says wars and rumors of wars. All those wars, all those rumors of war, they're gonna start turning into wars. However, when Yahawashi Mashiach coming back, all those nations, they're gonna stop, and they're gonna stop fighting one another and turn their weapons to fight Yahawashi Mashiach and the rest of the angels. So basically, that's gonna mean the powers of heaven shall shaking, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. So when that happens, like it's gonna then Yahawashi Mashiach is gonna appear, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. So basically, when Yahawashi Mashiach appears, every people on the planet gonna be mourning, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with great power and glory, because they're gonna see the Son of Man, which is Yahawashi Mashiach, coming from heaven with great powers. When I say great powers, mean like spiritual powers, man. So basically, all the people, they're gonna be terrifying. They're gonna be fearful of their life, man. And he shall send his angels with great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together the elect. So basically, he's gonna send his angels with basically he's gonna send his angels to with great when he says like a mighty blast of trumpets, which means it basically most likely gonna be like using like a spiritual powers weapons to destroy the enemies, and basically gather the elect from the four winds, from one end of the heaven to the other. So basically, he's gonna send his angels to gather all the elect from all corners of the world. Whether it's like you live in Asia, Europe, Africa, Australia, America, North, South, he's gonna all the Most High, Yahawashi Mashiach, gonna send those angels to beam the elect. So when all those people on the earth see Yahawashi Mashiach, they're gonna be terrifying, because they're gonna know that's the real deal. Because when you live in Babylon the Great or in the westernized civilizations, all they tell you is Yahawashi Mashiach is a so-called white man. All of us Jakes, whether you Negroes, especially the Latinos tribes or the Northern Kingdom tribes, they completely worship the Sedgwick Bourget. They love and worship the white man. When it comes to us Southern Kingdom, which is Negroes, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, Esau put the woman over us, man, to keep us under submissions. We've seen that like all of us. Most of us Southern Kingdom, when we grew up, the head of our household is always a woman. But when it comes to the Northern Kingdom, man, the one way Esau take over them, conquer them, is by having them worship him. Like if you go to any plantation, you see like a group of Northern Kingdom that's working. You can see like a place full of thousands of Northern Kingdom, and the person that is in charge is like a one Edomite, and they have no problem with that, because they worship and they love the so-called white man. Apostles always make that reference, and it is true. But when it comes to us Southern Kingdom, man, when you go to any plantations, like you see like Jakes working on plantations, like the person that's gonna be in charge is like always a woman above us. What is like an Edomite, but mainly like a black woman you see in front of us. And you think that'll make our job easier, and that woman is gonna always putting hell on us too. So let me go back on that. I believe, yeah, that was the last one. So yeah, that's what's gonna happen. So I pray that was another edifying lesson to the folks, and whoever the Most High want through this message, and let it be heard. And with that, I'd like to say Shalom.